This pot is dead to me.
Oh my god.
Hi, I'm Beryl, and the theme for this video is Meatballs. You've come back for the thrilling conclusion of Meatballs, episode 1. Here's a quick recap.
I did not have the right tool to make this. Wow, this meatball is like a pillow.
Ooh, it's spicy.
Okay, so we may have had a small cooking accident in that video.
The artist today is Barbara Lim. She's based in San Francisco, California in the United States and does beautiful watercolor paintings inspired by food. I love the French fries, so much fun. She actually emailed me, which is how we got in touch, and I was really excited to share her work, and I hope that you guys like it as well. Her info is in the description. Now today we have 5 meatballs, including some from countries that have never been represented on this channel before, which I'm very excited about. So we're gonna start with one of those. It is a meatball from Iceland.
My name is Vera. I'm from Iceland and I live in Reykjavik, which is the capital of Iceland. So the dish I want to share with you today is called Fiskibollur í Karrysosa, or fish meatballs or fish balls in curry sauce. The dish consists of fish meatballs made with either cod or haddock, which are the 2 most common fish in Icelandic cuisine. I would say traditional Icelandic food is very meat forward, mainly fish and mutton or lamb and potatoes. Because we are a very isolated island, we are here in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. People have had to learn how to be resourceful in order to survive. I'm not quite sure when the curry sauce entered our culinary landscape, but my parents remember this dish from when they were growing up, so at least from the 60s or 70s. It's simple ingredients, but it lets the taste of the fish shine, and then the curry sauce is like a warm, savory blanket over the fish balls. And I think the combination just really works. This is a dish that is very typical in like school or work canteens. My aunt actually always says that my mom used to make the best version of this when they were growing up.
Oh my god. Oh no. No.
But I hope that people try them, at least try to make the meatballs. A side note, they're also very delicious cold the next day on some rye bread with butter and salt and pepper. Just throwing that out there. I hope you like it.
Okay, my fish meatballs from Iceland, made with cod, and I used frozen cod, and I think one takeaway, if you're using a frozen fish, is that there's gonna be extra liquid, so I had to kind of like squeeze out a lot of the extra liquid so that I could get kind of like a dough consistency. These kind of remind me of crab cakes without the very expensive ingredient of crab. Oh my god, I love it. It kind of also tastes like a crab cake, but not. Wow, this curry sauce is very interesting. It's really good. Subtly spiced. Vera's right. You can really taste the fish in this. I feel giddy from it. I am so surprised by the texture. It's so light and fluffy. Obviously, we need to acknowledge the spill.
Oh my god. Oh no. No.
I have reached a point in my YouTube career. I need new pots. This pot has been giving me a freaking headache since the moment I started cooking on camera with it.
Son of a bitch.
The pot does not want to sit up. It doesn't care if it's empty or if it's full. All it wants to do is spill. I've had so many spills with this stupid pot. I'm just trying to say this pot is dead to me and I'm getting a new pot. So say your goodbyes if you need to. RIP pot. And of course it was like a curry sauce, you know, so like there's just like the stain all over my counter, like all the towels are just like covered in it. We have fun. Next meatball dish is from the Netherlands, and I picked this one because it was controversial.
Hi, my name is Stephanie. I'm originally from the UK, but for the last 10 years I've actually lived in the Netherlands. The dish I want to talk to you about today is called Bitterballen. Bitterballen are a Dutch fried snack. The dish itself is essentially a meatball, but it's not traditionally a meatball. So it's made with stewed beef or veal traditionally, but you can also see some with chicken. And this is stewed down until it's very, very soft and sort of combined with a roux and deep fried with some breading. Although it's not a stereotypical meatball, it is a ball made of meat, so it felt correct to add it. So when you first bite into it, you have that really crispy outer exterior, followed by the soft, gooey, meaty goodness that's on the inside. In my mind, it's super delicious, especially when you have it with a beer. These ones are, I would say, special because I've never seen them anywhere else outside of the Netherlands. For me, I really associate this dish with meeting up with my friends in a bar or pretty much any outdoor venue. If they serve any kind of beer, there will always be some kind of bitterball to go along with it. What we like to do is we like to, when it's fresh from the deep fryer, is to dip it in some really spicy mustard and then eat it. But make sure you blow on it, because when it first comes out, the middle is so hot that it's very easy to burn your tongue. So make sure that you dip it really nice and deep in a very spicy mustard and enjoy.
I was left with a warning that these are going to be hot and I need to wait. So let's play What's in My Bookshelf? I will say the next episode is also full of hot foods, so if you guys have any requests for what you would like to see in the next episode, I will be doing a show and tell then as well. This is a tiny statue of the Loch Ness Monster made by this guy who lives at Loch Ness. When I was in Scotland working with Great Big Story, we stopped by to say hello to this guy because we did a video on him.
We made it to Loch Ness to see the Loch Ness Monster. I'm a GPS today.
It's cute. This is my favorite collection of short stories by Junji Ito, specifically because the last story in this book, The Enigma of Amigara Fault, is terrifying. So good though. This is the current album that I've been listening to on my record player. It is called Dark Rooms by the band Dark Rooms. It's haunting and definitely moody, and I'm very, very into it. Okay, I think it's time to eat one. Dip it in the mustard. Whoa. It's so creamy inside. This was controversial because in the comments, a lot of people were saying like, no, that's not a meatball. Honestly, having made this, I'm gonna call it a meatball. If this is what it's supposed to taste like, dang. This tastes like, it's crunchy on the outside, super soft, and so flavorful on the inside. The spicy mustard is such a good pairing. I'm very excited by this food. I have no business making stuff like this at home. This is definitely like good bar food. Oh, I love it. Okay, yeah, we're just gonna eat this last one because I'm living my life and I'm enjoying it. Oh. I feel like when you bite into something that's good, you just immediately look at what you bit into. I think if I roll the tape back, I'll say that I looked at this every time I bit into it. Because it's good. You're like, wow, what did I just eat? I like it.
Hi Beryl, my name's George and I live in San Francisco, but originally my family is from Damascus, Syria by way of a smaller city called Hama. The meatball dish I wanted to talk about today is called Kebab Keraz. In Syria, Kebab Keraz is special because it's cooked in a sour cherry sauce and it hails from the northern city of Aleppo. This dish is really emblematic of Aleppo and the multicultural community there, where you have the Christians and the Sephardic Jews, the Armenians, and the Turks, and Circassians, and really, all of the different cultures and religious traditions that make Syria really unique and special. Kebab Keraz is made typically using lamb, a few spices, and then cooked in a very typical Syrian sour cherry sauce. Sour cherries are very important to Syria. It's one of our emblematic flavors. Syrians love, love, love high acid foods. And while most of the country is more interested in making things in dairy sauces, right, like in yogurt or in sheep's milk, Aleppo is very special because there used to be historically a very high Jewish population. And because of that, you can't mix meat and dairy. So the cuisine of Aleppo is very unique in Syria because they use lots and lots of fruit sauces. The taste of this dish is so very special. We get this really fantastic interplay between the tart, bracing fruit sauce and then the warmly spiced meatballs, which is really fantastic and special.
So this is a dish that I have had before when I was staying in Syria. It's amazing. So I feel like a lot of pressure. Sour cherries might not be super easy to come by, but you can find them dried if you can't find them frozen. And you can also just add a lot of lemon juice and or citric acid powder if you want to make this to normal cherries. I mean, I think I did it justice. It's got that richness from the lamb meatball, but then this sour freshness from the cherries. It's a very interesting combination. I think you probably won't find many other meat dishes with a fruit sauce like this. I was like mid-talking and then took a bite. And George, you did an amazing job talking about the history of this dish and how it came to be. And it's true that because there was a large Jewish population in Aleppo, you find a lot of these non-dairy based sauces to go with meat because people kept kosher. Food history is just such a fun and interesting thing to dive into, truly. I do like the size of these meatballs. They're kind of more like cocktail-sized meatballs versus, if you remember, the lion's head meatball from China. That was a hunk of meatball, These are, you can kind of like pop them back. All right, well, maybe I should have done 2 bites. Yeah. I was very excited about this dish, especially in relation now to the next dish. And I think if you paid attention, you will be able to see a line that connects these two seemingly disparate dishes.
Hi, my name's Amanda and I'm from Central Illinois in the United States. Today I wanted to talk about magic meatballs. I think the magic part of magic meatballs is that despite all the odd-sounding ingredients, everything works really well together. The meat part is made of ground beef, bread chunks, and onion soup mix, whereas the magic sauce is made of grape jelly, lemon juice, and ketchup. And then you bake the whole thing and put it on top of white rice. I think this recipe is really delicious because it's savory and sweet and very hearty. It's great in the winter because it's warm and the rice absorbs all the sauce, which is always what you want with a great sauce. This dish is also important to me because it's the only dish my grandma ever taught me how to make. She learned it from a cookbook that her church put together. So it's a lot of great memories and I still make it today with my parents. I hope you try it and I think you'll like it.
Okay, did you notice any sort of interesting similarities between this dish and the previous one from Syria? Here's my thought process. I don't actually have proof that this is right, but it feels right. So we learned that these magic meatballs became a thing in the 1960s in the United States. At that same time, there was a large influx of immigrants from Palestine, Lebanon, and other Middle Eastern countries to the United States. And as you can imagine, they bring their food culture with them. And a lot of these immigrants settled in the Midwest and the northern states in the United States. I feel like a professor right now. Okay, so we now have this new population who brought their food culture with them but don't have access to the same foods. Suddenly, this idea of using grape jelly as a covering for meatballs, like the line is right there, right back to Syria when people were using cherry sauce. I think that's so incredible. It makes things that might seem weird at first blush, like there's so much more to it than just thinking something's weird. It's ingenuity and it's being creative and using what you have to create that taste of home. God, it's like making me emotional. I'm eating a magic meatball, for goodness sake. Anyway, I just thought this was a really great example of the connectivity of food and how people bring their food culture with them wherever they go, and it can become a part of the zeitgeist in a new place. With that, let's try some magic meatballs. The idea of the French onion dip soup mix as seasoning, though, I'm into it. Very flavorful. What an amazing hack! Okay. The sauce is definitely not weird at all. It's delicious. The ketchup and the grape, it doesn't taste like grape jelly to me. Like, I don't know what it tastes like. It just kind of tastes like a sweeter sauce. And the meatball itself, wow, using powdered soup mix as seasoning, this is a hack that I never knew that I needed, but it's really genius. Also, yeah, it's really good with the rice. The interesting thing is, while I feel like this dish has this amazing connection back to the Middle East, into Syria and Lebanon, there's also, like, it feels very American at the same time, utilizing ingredients that are so common here, like beef. We are a country that loves our beef. Concord grapes, the kind of packaged soup mix. These are things that are affordable, and people have used them to create something bigger than the sum of the parts, if that makes sense. It's ingenuity on a lot of different fronts. And for that, it's magic. See what I did? I brought it back to the name.
Hi everyone, my name is Chaymae. I live periodically between the two cities of Agadir and Rabat in Morocco. The meatball dish that I want to share with you today is called Tagine bil Kefta mkoura or Tagine bil Bayd wal Kefta. In English, that means egg and meatball tagine. The tagine being a traditional earthenware pot in which the dish is cooked and served. But if you do not have one, a skillet works just fine. The traditional recipe requires some ground beef seasoned with cinnamon, cumin, pepper, salt, and paprika. I know that seasoning meat with cinnamon might sound strange to you, but it's quite a common thing here in Morocco. This recipe is found all across Morocco. It's a national dish that is pretty much enjoyed by everyone. It's one of our most popular tagines, and it's also very popular among students because of its affordability and simplicity. The taste is heavenly. The richness of the eggs, the acidity of the tomatoes, they just complement the meatballs perfectly, and it creates a balance. It's just a delight to the palate. My mom used to make us these meatballs when we were young, my brother and I, and we would always fight over who would get the last meatball. I'm pretty sure I got it every single time. So I encourage everyone to try this recipe at least once. The flavors really just hit the spot, and if I can pull it off in the kitchen, anyone can. It's that easy. I would love to think that other people might be enjoying my country's food, since not many know about Moroccan culture, and I hope you enjoy it.
Okay, I have my final dish, which I carefully removed from my tagine, and I have one of the eggs, like, perfectly intact. It's like a shakshuka meets meatballs, and I love that. Oh, the egg was perfect. It smells so good. Like, this tomato sauce smells sumptuous. Huh. I really try to be impartial, but this might be the best one yet. The sauce, it's the sauce and the egg. It's the sauce and the egg and the meat, like the trifecta of all three together. Huh. I'm supposed to eat this with bread, not with a spoon, so I have the bread as well. And I get it because of all this beautiful sauce, you want bread to like lap it up, sop it up. Even if you don't want to make the meatballs, you have to make this sauce. So simple and so perfect. Cooking with the tagine was a little complicated. So the Williams-Sonoma tagine that I have, it probably wasn't actually made for cooking in. It was probably made more as like a showpiece, and I could be wrong, but mine cracked immediately. So that's why the footage all of a sudden was like. So this was my second meatball episode. I've really enjoyed doing it. Like, should I do another or should we move on from meatballs? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. If you want to watch that first meatball video, I've linked it here. And here's another video that, I don't know, is fun. You should like it too. Anyway, I will see you all in my next video.